All right, we are back, everyone. After a long segment and a quick break.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I like the way we do it here, Kenny.
That was a good time.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
And let's. Where do you want to go? Hockey or football now?
Oh, where do I want to go? Wow. Well, you know what? I would rant too long about hockey, so we wouldn't get to football. So let's do football.
All right, let's do a little football.
That's me being honest with you, Ian.
I appreciate that, Kenny.
Yeah, anytime.
We are honest people here at WICR.
We try our best anyway.
Yeah. First, let's.
Weird week in the NFL.
Yeah.
Really strange. Not a lot really happened.
Well, last night. How about?
Well, yeah, last night was rough.
Tough to watch, but very interesting.
If you're an Andy Dalton fan.
Yeah. 3 picks. I mean, sure.
Well, what did he do? He went 10 for 30, right? Something crazy.
Something like that. But just interesting week. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals dropping the ball to the Cleveland Browns, 24-3. Watch out. The Browns are tied for first place.
I won't allow it. I don't like those Ohio people. But I mean, hey, good for them. The Bengals really. I'm trying to think of a way to say it without sounding really awful, but I'm having a hard time because they are really awful.
They are just dropping the ball.
They have opportunity after opportunity to pull away, right, in the AFC, and they just can't do it. And then they, I don't know. Against a team that you need to beat, a division rival, a team that you've got to beat, and you can't do it.
A lot of people looked at the Browns and said they went through their easy portion of the schedule, matching up with Jacksonville, of course, losing that game, but then beating Oakland and Tampa Bay, and with Tennessee just before that, and it looked like they go through that little stretch of very winnable games, and then they hit their rough patch, with Cincinnati. But really, you got Houston now at Atlanta. That's not that tough of a game. I mean, Atlanta's good in the Georgia Dome. And then you go to Buffalo, cold weather at the end of November, but not too bad. If they win 2 out of those 3, they'll be sitting at
8-4. 8-4 through 12. Yeah, it's what I think is the biggest game on that stretch there for both teams. I think it's for both teams is the Browns-Bills game, and I think that's going to decide a lot of things. Whether or not it just be in the AFC Central, North. Excuse me. I got hockey on the mind. Whether it be in the AFC
We'll get there.
Whether it be in the North or the East, you got to remember that the Bills are alive. The Bills are alive and well in the not. I don't want to say in the AFC East because the Patriots are a little too much for anybody right now in that.
Agreed.
In that division. But
very much.
When you look at the rest of the Bills right now, they go on a winnable stretch. They have the Chiefs at home. Then they go to Miami. Then they bring the Jets in. And then the Browns. And they could win 3 out of those 4 games.
Yeah, I don't.
And just like that, they're 8-4 too.
I don't give them the win
against the Chiefs.
Me
neither.
Right.
However, if they beat the Chiefs, they can win the next 4.
Right.
Right? If they can beat the Chiefs at home.
Right.
In mid-November.
Yeah, it's not out of the question that they'll lose to the Chiefs, but I do see the Chiefs taking that one.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you, and that's why I gave them 3 out of 4 as the golden number. But if they can do, because then they have a really cruddy end to their schedule. The Bills end after they play the Browns, Broncos, Packers, Raiders, Patriots.
Ooh, that is a rough
That's a rough
December.
4 games at the end. That is an awful December. So they need these next 4.
Right.
And I think the Browns game is going to be the deciding one, because I think they'll put up a fight against the Chiefs.
They will.
Both teams are 5-3. The Chiefs obviously have had a little bit of a tougher schedule, and the Chiefs are also on a bit of a streak as well. They've won their last 3.
All starting with that win against the Patriots.
Yeah, exactly. So the Chiefs Bills next week, that'll be interesting. And I think whoever wins that game is going to get the second wild card spot.
Wow, okay. So you give the Bills the wild card even with that stretch at the end of the season in December.
Well, what I'm thinking is if they can win these next 4, right? Let's say
Right.
they win 4. All of a sudden, they're 9-3.
Okay.
Right? If
Yeah.
they win their next 4, all of a sudden they're 9-3. An 11-win team makes the playoffs.
Right.
They're going to beat the Raiders,
Obviously.
or at least you have to beat the Raiders. You know,
Right.
you have to beat the Raiders if you're going to make playoffs.
If you're going to make the playoffs,
Right.
you have
and then
to beat
they
the
have to
Raiders.
beat one of the Broncos, Packers, or Patriots. And you have
It's-
to remember, in Week 17, Tom Brady's probably not going to play.
Yeah,
You know, Gronkowski's probably not going to play.
the game I look for them to win in that
Packers.
stretch is the Packers.
Yeah, same.
Of those 3 tough games, it's or really those 4 games there, it's the only one at home. And, Denver, who knows, with the altitude and everything. And the Patriots just don't lose in Foxborough. I mean, I think
Yeah, it's
it was maybe 2 years ago. The two of them played Week 17 again. Bills jumped out to a 21-0 lead after the first quarter.
Yep.
And then I think they lost the game like 49-21. So,
Yeah, you don't beat the Patriots in
Foxborough.
But
Right.
also, it's different when nobody's playing. And
That's
you got to
true.
remember again that's Week 17. But also, you need to beat the Chiefs. The
Right,
Chiefs and
you-
the Browns are the big 2 games for them. Right now.
You have to do work to get to that.
And I think because also they've won 2 in a row, and you have to think if they can win their next game against the Chiefs, that's 3 in a row, and then
Right.
they beat the Dolphins, that's 4 in a row, and all of a sudden they're feeling good and flying high, and then they beat the Jets because I can beat the Jets, and then they've won 5 in a row. Right now they're really flying high, and then they play the Browns, and they've won 5 in a row, and they're at home in mid-November, and they beat the Browns, and now it's 6 in a row. And then they play the Broncos in, Denver. But that's how you win. That's how things get started. That's when you really turn it on. That is. And then they have a bye week in between, right? Am I wrong?
No, they just had their bye.
They just had theirs.
Yeah.
This week was their bye.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So this Sunday they had their bye, and now
now
this
they go on
Sunday-
a stretch.
Yeah, right.
So I think it's doable for the Bills, and I do think whoever wins that Browns, let's say the Bills beat the Chiefs. This is all on the Bills beating the Chiefs. If the Bills don't beat the Chiefs, everything I say right now is null and void.
Right.
If the Bills beat the Browns, whoever wins that game between the Browns and the Bills in week, 13, 14? 13.
13 because they have 4 games after that.
Yes.
Week 13. Yes.
Week 13. If the Bills, this again, asterisk.
Right.
Asterisk, they beat the Chiefs this week.
Right.
But if the winner of the Bills-Browns in Week 13 will be the second wild card winner.
Okay.
And the first wild card winner will be... Oh, I don't know.
Well, it's probably San Diego.
Yeah, probably San Diego. Who's on top of that division?
I want it. It's either San Diego or what? Wait, hold on. It says the Chiefs are in second. Let's pull up the standings right now. We've got in that division, Denver at 6-2, Kansas City 5-3, San Diego 5-4.
Yeah, I still think San Diego gets it.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the Chiefs' schedule right now.
Let's see.
And
Look at the schedule.
They've got, of course, the Bills, as we've said, coming up this week. Then they host Seattle, which apparently is a winnable game. Then they go to Oakland.
Oh, that's got to be
all right. You have to win. They do have Oakland 2 more times. They've got both games against Oakland coming up.
But then you got to look at the rest of that schedule, man.
Yeah.
Seahawks is a tough game, regardless of
right
how bad they are. It's a tough game. And the Broncos are always hard to beat. The Cardinals are on a bit of a tear.
Right.
And then the Raiders again. But then the Steelers and Chargers, 2 division games at the end of the season to wrap that up.
No,
not just
the
Steelers.
Chargers. Yeah. Kansas City.
I think Kansas City has a tougher. Oh gosh, I don't know.
I think so.
Has a tougher schedule than
the
Bills.
Because the Bills November is easy. They just have the back end of that schedule is tough.
Plus, they have the Raiders to split it up.
That's true. But
so do the Chiefs, though, I guess.
Right. But for the Chiefs, I mean, you've got 2 games. The Raiders 2 games.
Yeah.
Just really
tough games.
Tough games. So I think, and then you also factor in the Seahawks. The Bills don't have, say, the Seahawks.
Yeah, but they do have the Patriots and the Packers.
All right. Yeah.
I think it's a very even schedule, and that's why I think this game doesn't decide it. I think it's that Bills-Browns game.
Well, that's if the Bills win this game.
That's if the Bills win today. Well, not today, but Sunday.
I think that this game is a must-win if either one of the Chiefs or the Bills is going to make the playoffs. It's a must-win.
Yeah, that's fair. And again, if the Bills don't win, I don't think they make the playoffs.
No. Well, right, because they don't.
It's the must-win term.
Right. Yeah. Those 2 usually go together.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, we've got about 10 minutes left here. You want to jump over to some hockey?
Dude, whatever floats your boat. Man.
We're doing this on the fly.
I'm in.
So let's have Kenny rant about hockey for 10 minutes.
Don't fret, man. You jump in.
Oh, I will.
All right. Well, the Rangers are going to get back Stepan tonight.
Right.
Against Toronto. Lundqvist not going to play tonight. Talbot will be in, so then Lundqvist will play. Oh, excuse me, tomorrow against Toronto. Not tonight. They play Saturday. So Stepan will play tomorrow against Toronto in New York, I believe. And then Sunday against Edmonton, also in New York. So a little back-to-back home game action for the Rangers, I believe. So Stepan makes his season debut Saturday. Lundqvist will not play Saturday. He'll play Sunday. Islanders, on the other hand, 2 big freaking wins over the last 2 days, back-to-back in Southern California against the Ducks, cream of the crop in the West, defending Stanley Cup champions, LA Kings, cream of the crop in the West. Islanders go in, win 1 game in overtime, win the next game in a shootout, back-to-back nights on what is considered a schedule loss. So when you play back-to-backs, the second game is statistically like 30-70. That's the projected winning percentage of a back-to-back. So the Islanders able to win both of those games and salvage a road trip, which could have been pretty awful. And a lot of Islanders fans and a lot of Islanders people fretted that it would be awful because it's the dreaded November trip, where every November they go on a little trip, and they lose all the games. And then by the time Thanksgiving comes around, they're eliminated from playoff contention. And then it doesn't even matter anymore.
And then they coin it as a rebuilding.
Exactly. And then it's we'll get them next year. But this year, things are a little different. And it started off pretty horribly, and a lot of people were a little nervous. They had that really strange win at home a few weeks ago against Dallas on that Saturday, the 25th of October, where they won 7-5. It was really weird. It was just a strange game. People were happy, though. Then they lost at home to Winnipeg, and then everybody said, oh, gosh, now we go on the road, right? And so it's already a home loss to Winnipeg, who's a team that you need to beat at home. But now you're going to go on the road, and you're going to play Colorado, San Jose, Anaheim, Los Angeles, and come out of there with playoff hopes? No way. Now we're done. It's over. Finish it. Wrap it up. Put a bow on it. Call it a day. send a thank you card to Grandma, and then just get over yourselves and get ready for 2015 in Brooklyn, right? That's how everybody thought it was going to go, and it started off pretty much that way. Exactly how everybody thought it was going to go. 5-0 loss in Colorado leads 2 days later to a 3-1 loss in San Jose, and then 3 days off, which is never what you want.
No.
It's never what you want.
3 days off and then a back-to-back.
3 days off and then a back-to-back. And 3 days off is... It's like it's a catch-22 because you get 3 days off and you can relax.
But you're in California.
You can settle things down, and you're in California. You can go to the beach. You can relax. You do whatever you got to do. But it's also 3 days off, and then you're playing two of the best teams in the world. So 3 days off to get sloppy, 3 days off to get rusty, 3 days off to forget systems, 3 days off to forget pairings, stuff like that. And then you play two of the best teams in the world. Islanders catch a huge break against Anaheim Wednesday night. No Anderson or Gibson. They're both hurt, so Jason LaBarbera has to play goal. No Perry or Getzlaf. They both have flu-like symptoms, so they both sit out. So the Islanders play a really depleted Anaheim team, take them to overtime and win. And who cares?
In the record book,
who cares?
It's not going to say
right?
Anaheim was without their top players.
At the
it's
very
going to say
least, the
Islanders beat the Ducks.
Exactly. And at the very least, what you needed to do at that point, if you're an Islanders team, is you need to exercise your November demons. Last year, they lose 10 straight in November, and they're out of it before Thanksgiving comes around. 2 years ago, there was no games in November because, well, there was a lockout.
Right.
3 years ago, same situation. They lose 6 or 7 in a row in November, and they're out of it before Thanksgiving even comes around. So it's exactly what you needed to do, regardless of the amount of breaks that you get, or the amount of bounces that go your way, or the bad calls that happen, or the scoreboard falling on the ice. A win is a win, and you needed that win. You needed to exercise your November demons, and the Islanders did that pretty substantially Wednesday against one of the best teams in the league, against the Ducks. Now, the next day, right, the defending Stanley Cup champions in Los Angeles against Jonathan Quick, who is a good goalie. He's not the best goalie in the world, but he's a good goalie. And Chad Johnson playing right back-to-back, so your backup's going to play. And the Islanders win. They got great goaltending from Chad Johnson. Their defensive pairings played out of this world. The Leddy-Boychuk pairing, although Boychuk looked a little beat up every now and again, tough as nails, that guy. It kept coming back. Islanders' defense played well. Their penalty kill last night was, I think, 3 for 3 or either 4 for 4. And that's something that struggled for them. They're dead last in the league in penalty kill. So that was impressive to see them kill off a few big ones there. Brock Nelson continues to light the lamp. And he is having one heck of a season early on. And last night he was a man possessed, causing a few turnovers, a few great looks. Got one to sneak past Quick for the only goal in regulation. And then in the shootout, Franz Nielsen's unstoppable. And Kyle Okposo continues to score. And so now, and I think it was Howie Rose last night who said the Islanders have changed their leadoff hitter to start to clean up. So Franz Nielsen, who always shoots first, ended up shooting second. So he went from leadoff to the cleanup hitter to just try and sweep it all away. And the Islanders come away with a Southern California sweep, which is very impressive. Big 4 points. They sit alone in second place in the Metropolitan. And now this is, I think, one of, if not the biggest game of the early part of this season coming up on Saturday in Arizona. An 8 p.m. start. They have 1 day off. Then they play Arizona, who is not a very good team.
No. I was going to say, that this could be the deciding moment of the Islanders' season.
Yeah.
Because you look at it, you beat Anaheim and Los Angeles on a back-to-back, and if they go into Arizona and completely fall apart,
yep,
then those 2 wins pretty much mean nothing.
Yeah. No, this is where you separate good teams from mediocre teams and mediocre teams from bad teams. This is where the men become the boys or the girls become the women. This is where you grow up. This is where a team takes the next step. We've talked a lot about today, taking the next step, right? And I think this is the next step. The next step is beating a team that you need to beat, right? If you are going to be in the upper echelon of the league, if you are going to be in the playoffs, if you are going to play against the top teams in the league and take them to overtime and beat them in shootouts, you need to beat the Coyotes. And it's that simple. It's that simple. The Coyotes are not a bad team. Don't get me wrong. They're going to contend for a little bit this year, right? They're going to hang around. They're going to pester some teams. But this is a team you need to beat if you're going to make the playoffs. It's exactly what we're talking about with the Raiders, right?
Right.
We're talking about the Bills earlier on. If the Bills are going to make the playoffs, you need to beat the Raiders. It's got to be a schedule win.
The Coyotes are for the Islanders right now what the Bills are for any team that has any playoff hopes.
Yeah, exactly.
In the NFL.
Exactly. And you need to beat them. And if you don't, it's your own fault.
Right.
And at the very, very, very least, if you're not going to win, you need to severely outplay them. Hockey's a weird game. You can get some weird bounces and some weird things can happen, and one goalie can stand on his head for 60 minutes and you can never get anything by him. And that happens. And you know what? That's just hockey, and that's why we love the sport. But you need to severely outplay them.
Agreed.
Severely. You need to come out of the gate on Saturday flying.
And
absolutely flying.
You need to come away from the game and say, hey,
yeah.
If you win, say, yeah, we won that game.
Yes.
But if you lose, say, we played well enough to win. There was some added component that just prevented us from
There are
doing
some
it.
things that are uncontrollable. And again, that's why we love the sport. Because in so many other sports, it's so controllable. Right. You think about baseball. Everything that happens, very controllable. If you drop the ball, it's your own fault that you dropped the ball. Right? If you misplay a ground ball, granted it could take a weird hop. Granted it could, just dead stop on the grass, but that's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
But in hockey, so many strange bounces, so many strange puck maneuvers that can influence the course of anything, right? And so that is why we love the game. And what we're going to see on Saturday, hopefully, is we're going to see a team take the next step. We're going to see them take those bounces and put them in the rearview mirror, right? Because a good team gets a bad bounce and finds a way. That's what happens. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping as an Islanders fan, but even as a hockey fan, this is a team that people love to watch. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're young, they're fast, they're talented, they can score. It's a good team to watch, and it's been a lot of fun so far for this team. And I think Saturday is your determining game of the early half of the season. Granted, again, anything can happen when we get later on in the season. We're only 13 games in. Yeah. But still, this is where you need to prove to the rest of the league that you're for real.
Now, real quickly, we only have a minute left. Just one team I want to touch on that is soaring right now. The St. Louis Blues.
Oh, man.
7 straight wins. Just came through New York and
took them out.
Took everybody out in the New York area. Vladimir Tarasenko.
Yeah, Tarasenko. That was close.
Yeah, it's
a difficult name. I will say, if there's one thing I've perfected over my years of hockey watching, it's Russian.
Okay,
Vladimir Tarasenko is an absolute monster right now. Absolutely on fire. He is soaring the Blues on his own. He is playing out of this world. He is a great young talent, and he can really, really bury it.
He is carrying that Blues team to 7 straight wins, the longest active winning streak in the NHL right now. And hey, watch out. They are leading the Central Division in the Western Conference.
That division's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Blackhawks.
Oh.
Predators, who are a good team.
Yeah.
The Stars, who are severely underperforming.
They're in the cellar right now.
Yeah. Severely underperforming. That's a team that I still have high hopes for.
6 straight losses, though? Ooh.
Yeah. I know they are having a rough go right now.
Yeah.
Now that's a team that has I think last night after their loss, they lost again last night. I don't remember who to. Oh geez, who was it?
It was
Oh come on, give it to me. I think it might have been Nashville.
San Jose. Nashville.
Yeah,
3-2.
Nashville 3-2 in regulation too.
Yeah.
But again, that's a team that is again severely underperforming. But that's somebody who I've had my eye on as the cream of the crop of the West. They really, and that division, that entire division, is just so
Wide open.
loaded when you look at it. St. Louis, Nashville, Chicago, Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas, all of it. It's wild, but we got to go.
Well, you know what? Just real quickly with the Stars, they've got San Jose on Saturday, but then Tuesday they go to Arizona to play the Coyotes. They could very well be in the same situation as the Islanders, where you need to win the game in Arizona to determine the rest of the season.
Yep, and you look at their record right now, 4-5-4, right? That's where they are. They've lost a lot of games, not by a wide margin.
No.
They're hanging in. 4 of those games, overtime or shootout losses. They go the other way. They're 8-5, and they're in the exact same spot as the Islanders.
Yeah, as you said, hockey, they get 1 or 2 of those bounces, exactly
Just like
what
that.
you said.
They're in the same spot.
Well, we have been on the fly today, and
I'm excited to be back on the fly.
Yeah, we have to continue this, Kenny.
Unfortunately, I won't be here next week.
It's, you'll be doing your own thing in the Bronx.
I will.
So,
if you push back the start time a little bit, maybe we can get it in.
I'll see what I can do. I'll have to talk to the Merges,
All right, yeah. See what you can get.
Anyway, we will be back sometime I'll be back at least sometime next week, hopefully with Kenny. We'll see what we can do. But great show today, and enjoy your week, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
Hello, everyone. This is Gregory Kasimis from the Metro Deli and